I got into the business because I loved cars, but I've slowly started to love more the getting to know people, the sales aspect of it, the communication, dealing with clients. It's a lot more interesting because you meet different characters all the time.
Definitely.
Cars get boring eventually, but the people never do.
On this episode of the House of Cars podcast, we go over the good stuff. We talk with the staff about some of the times they've made clients feel important. As well, I tell the story about why a client still calls me every other week. What's up, everybody? It's Steve with House of Cars here. Today I got AJ. Okay, AJ's with the Chinook location. So today's episode, we're going to talk about customer experiences, right? Kind of some things that happen, some cool stories about some events that have happened and how we've, managed to create some really cool experiences for people. So. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. House of Cars podcast. Yeah, man, we've dealt with a lot of clients over the last 4 years. I think I started with the company in 2016, and it's a lot of faces, a lot of clients that we've dealt with, and definitely there's some memorable moments. Like, our clients are all so different.
For sure.
We deal with all, from blue collar to white collar, everything, especially here at House of Cars, right?
For sure.
My biggest experience that I've ever had that really brought joy to my heart is we had a client who actually had a son with autoimmune disease, and they were struggling to make the payments on their minivan because they needed to get the ramp set up and all that kind of stuff.
It's that's a huge fix. That's a huge transition.
100%. And just we're going through the transaction and everything, and the payments were a little bit high, but they just have to do it right at the end of the day because you can't travel safely with someone in a wheelchair unless you have that ramp going on. Just chatting with the client, getting to know them a little bit more. My main thing is, as a manager, I like to know every client that comes in through the door, right?
For sure. So you get involved with every deal then, and you're there, you meet everybody. That's awesome.
100%.
That's really cool.
I think it's important to know the face behind the door.
Definitely.
Because whenever you're sitting down in any sort of meeting and the guy just walks in behind that, closes that door, you're always like, oh, I wonder what's going on back there, right?
Absolutely.
Whereas we put a face to the name, they meet the owner, which is Hassan at our Chinook location. He's always saying hi to the clients. I'm always saying hi to the clients. So we get to chatting with the client, and they're actually I think their 20-year wedding anniversary was coming up.
Oh, no way.
And he mentioned to me that he was saving up money to pay for a helicopter ride through Banff.
Sweet.
So I just jumped onto the website. I was just curious as to how much it would cost.
That's a cool anniversary day.
Yeah, it's really cool. 20 years, they wanted to go on a helicopter ride around Banff. And I was more curious about the pricing because I wanted to do it as well, right?
For sure.
I go on the website, look at it up, and I'm like, man, this is not that expensive. And I understand people are struggling. They're paying a lot of money for their car as well. Mm-hmm. So I just included it in the deal. It's like we throw in free winter tires. I just threw in a free helicopter.
That's awesome.
Take care of them. They were super happy about it. And honestly,
so how did you pitch that to them? When you're showing it to them, how did you tell them that they were going on this helicopter ride?
You know how usually we show numbers on the Foursquare?
Yep.
At the bottom, I just said includes a free helicopter ride through Banff, and that's literally
That's
it.
awesome.
So they didn't even know about it. He just
awesome.
mentioned it to me in conversation, but they started tearing up. And you know what? That's what I remember. I don't remember the other deals. I don't remember selling that Ferrari, selling that G-Wagon. It's all about that. It's just helping.
So you're saying it's more so you have more memories from people getting really excited about stuff, and that experience more so than the vehicle transaction itself.
100%. I got into the business because I loved cars, but I've slowly started to love more the getting to know people, the sales aspect of it, the communication, dealing with clients. It's a lot more interesting because you meet different characters all the time.
Definitely.
Cars get boring eventually. But the people never do.
See, that's funny that you say that because it was for me the total opposite. I came into this knowing nothing about cars, and still I know very little. But I'm not, I'm not a car guy, right? People come in and they're like, "What kind of engine is this?" I'm like, "Let me open the hood and then you take a look. You tell me, right? You know enough about it." But I've always loved the people side of it, right? So I've learned to transition, and now I have a huge passion for cars.
Yeah.
And being able to couple those two things together has been really awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Just because for me, I got into it and I was like, I love cars. And then I just realized that people don't buy sports cars in Calgary. It's not that often, right?
So what's funny? In this week, we've had winter and summer 4 times each. And it's crazy. You can't plan for anything, right? It's always changing, and you need something that's going to be adaptable and be able
Sometimes you'll just drive down Deerfoot. North, it's snowing. In the middle, it's raining. And at the end, it's all sunshine. Deep south, so...
For sure.
It's definitely different, for sure.
For sure. Okay, so let's back up a bit. Before that story, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you sharing that. You were talking about kind of the different types of people that you've been able to work with over the last 4 years. And you said that you work with, everybody. We come from all demographics, all cultural backgrounds, all ages. Do you find that there's, a niche demographic, or is it, we work with everybody?
I'd say we work with everybody. Just look at our inventory. It's so different. Mm-hmm. It's completely different. Every person that walks in through that door has a different story, has a different background. Some are recently new to Canada. Some have been here a long time. Some have been working for 20 years. Some are just starting their jobs. Some are just graduating university, trying to get their first set of wheels. Like, it's exciting.
Sure.
Every day it's different. Every client is different.
Yeah, that variety is something that's
100%.
really, really awesome. Really
That's what
cool
keeps
to
things
work with.
interesting. No day is the same at House of Cars.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, do you find that people come in, because I know, at the McKnight store where I work out, we have people that come in and they're concerned about, oh, you know what, maybe I missed a payment on a credit card, or you know what, I had a bankruptcy a couple years ago, or I'm going through a divorce, and everybody seems to have concerns about whether they're going to be able to get an approval even, right, and B, they're money conscious, right? Everybody in today's world is conscious about where they're spending their money. Is this a good investment? Is this a good deal? Am I going to be able to afford it? So how do you respond to those type of fears that clients have when they come in?
It's actually a very good question, Matt. People are they don't understand financing to the full extent. Even when they get their first credit card at 18 years old, they don't know what that credit card entails. This is why a lot of 18-year-olds end up making the mistake of writing off that credit card.
That was me. I missed payments
going
on
to
a
the
credit
mall,
card
just
when I was
shopping
18.
for clothes,
Cash back $500. We're going to the bar.
100%. So I find that we're very uneducated when it comes in terms of financing, credit, and all that kind of stuff. And I learned more working at House of Cars than I have in my own degree.
Well, they don't teach that stuff at school, right?
Not at all.
The number of people that come in and they say, you know what, I have all of these credit cards, I have phenomenal credit, and the actual reality is, you're overextended on everything, right? So
yeah, you might not know this, but I'm a finance major at University of Calgary.
I didn't know that, and I'm glad I'm talking to you about this.
Basically, yeah. So I'm a finance major at there, and you'd think one of the most prestigious business schools in Canada would be able to teach you about credit, teach you about financing, and you know what? That's not what we learn about.
So what did you learn about?
Honestly, it's more about market trends, predicting whether a company is going to succeed or fail, inventory management, all that kind of stuff. It's never.
So I got into is radio talk shows a good or a bad thing for a company's future?
Oh, I think it's an amazing thing,
right,
especially the House of Cars podcast.
All right.
But no, for sure, definitely. Podcasts are taking over, man, because people want to listen to stuff in their cars. They don't want to. You can't listen to that same song over and over again, right?
Absolutely.
That's why Joe Rogan podcast, all that kind of stuff are just booming. For sure.
Absolutely.
100%.
Well, it's a cool way. It's a cool way to to humanize the brand, right? So it's like when I listen to the radio or you watch TV, you hear a lot of advertisements going on, and it feels as a consumer, people are just trying to shove stuff down your face, right? It's like we got the best prices, we got the most, like it's all just a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day, because everybody's here to do the same thing, right?
100%.
If you can go to the mall and buy clothes, you can go to the auto mall, you can look at cars, but where is the separation between this is a business and this is a human local industry, right?
Here's my opinion. My opinion is our inventory sells itself. Regardless of what it is, the cars sell themselves.
It's the people.
They're all essentially new people. It's who you're buying it from. If you feel good, you're gonna buy it. Me personally, I can go to the nicest dealership in the world. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm probably not gonna make that purchase.
Yep.
But if I feel comfortable and because the car sells itself, you don't have to sell the car.
Definitely.
You just have to. It's just have to be yourself. Take care of your clients. Make sure you go the extra mile, and that's what we always do every single day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. Okay, so now are there any other, what's your favorite client that you've ever worked with? So when you have someone come in the door and you're just like, this is my person, this is my human, I'm working with this guy.
I love guys that have like sort of different backgrounds that have traveled a lot because I can relate to that as well. My family is very.
Where's your favorite place you traveled?
My favorite place that I've ever been to is definitely Lebanon.
Why?
So,
I've never been to Lebanon.
Yeah, so
I've never been to Lebanon.
It's just a beautiful country, man. You can go up into the north of Lebanon and you have ski mountains like Banff. You go to the south and it's so hot that you can't even walk outside.
Can you surf and ski in the same day?
Yes.
That's a life goal of mine. Always has been. Go somewhere. I've always said Chile.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so long and narrow, right?
100%.
But you can go to the mountains and ski in the morning and then hop in the car and go to the beach and go surfing in the afternoon. That's on the bucket list for sure.
For me, Lebanon, like I think it's a must go for anybody. Like the Middle East, it's a great party there. The food's amazing. The people are amazing. Everyone's super friendly. And you can ski and surf in the same day. So.
That's awesome. Okay, so sorry to interrupt you. Your favorite person?
My favorite person, is a well-traveled man, to be honest. Like someone I can relate to, someone I can talk to. I like shooting the shit for an hour, getting to know somebody, figuring it out. seeing what they're looking for, why this car is important to them, what's going on. That's what I enjoy. Someone I can have a conversation with, a long conversation with, and get to know them.
Definitely. So now on that note, here's a cool question. Do you find it easier, and I had this experience earlier this week actually, where I had a guy, he did an online application.
Okay.
And he had no idea what he was looking for. And the guy is in his late 20s, but has a learner's license, is his first vehicle purchase. And when he comes in, he's like, I know nothing about what I'm looking for, right? So, and then I was able to, break it down and say, what are we using it for? What needs does it need to fill? Are you planning on keeping it for a long time? And be able to build that vision, that program for them, right?
Yeah.
And when we were wrapping things up, he mentioned to me, and he's like, you know what? I must have been really easy to work with because I knew nothing about it. You could just guide me the whole way. And in my head, I thought, wow, this is actually one of the harder deals I've had to work with because I'm now trying to, put all these pieces together,
You're
right?
making the decision for them at the end of the day, right?
You are, right?
Yeah,
So do you find it's easier when people come in and they're really open to ideas and suggestions, or do you like when someone comes in and they're like, this is what I want, this is what I need, make it happen?
You know what? I like both. I can't complain with someone who knows what they want. I know what I want when I go buy a car. I know what I'm looking for. I know what color I want. I know what engine I want. I love the challenge of finding something for somebody, especially if they don't know much about vehicles, because then I can share my passion about cars.
Cool.
So I figure out what they want, whether it's fuel efficiency, performance, whatever it may be that they're looking for in a car, and then we'll break it down and find the perfect car for them. Like, we have a massive inventory. We have everything. So chances are we have what you want.
Really cool. What's your favorite car?
My favorite car is the Porsche 911 GT2 RS. I just think it's the ultimate driving machine, Lamborghini, McLaren, whatever it may be, nothing compares to a 911. I'm sorry.
There you go.
They don't look as cool, but the 911's the best.
They're classy. They're classy. You know what? They're timeless. They've never changed. You know what you're getting with
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
There you go. There
it's
you
the
go.
perfect
I like
car,
that.
100% 911s.
Do we have any?
We do not yet, but I am trying to convince them.
You'll go buy one.
Yes. I'll eventually
awesome.
have it. Yes, 100%. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so now anything other standout points that you want to touch on while I have you here?
Honestly, I just want to say that what I loved about working for this company is that I started when I was 19 years old, and at 23 I became a finance manager here. So
With the UFC finance degree.
Yeah, and by 23 years old, I got promoted to a position I never thought I'd have at 23 years old. To have the responsibilities I have, to have people a lot older than me, a lot more successful than I am, give me that opportunity. I thought it was really cool, to be honest.
Do you find that being young, right, being a younger guy, do you find that proposes challenges to you when you're working with people, or is that something that you're able to get around pretty easily?
At first, Dan will tell you I use that as an excuse a lot.
Okay.
I don't think age has anything to do with it anymore. I feel like it's the experience, it's the knowledge, it's the people skills. I used to think that because I'm young, people are not going to respect me, but you have to earn that respect at the end of the day.
You have to earn that respect, and that's just not something that comes in a sales type job. That comes in any type of human interaction, any 100%. Relationship, right? You have to build that value. You have to create that vision. You have to, honestly, you're almost always selling yourself when you meet somebody, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you go out on a date with a girl or something like that. The first time, you don't want to come across as boasting or arrogant and stuff 100%. Like that. But you gotta find a way to build that value.
Yeah. How'd you find it though? Because I know you. When I first started in sales, I think you started as well as management in Barlow.
So same thing, yep. So I started actually in April 2016 with the company.
Okay.
I had a good buddy of mine who I used to bartend with. He was the GM at the store at the time. And I had no intention of making a career out of this. Yeah. I came in and honestly, I messaged him like, hey man, I want to sell cars for the summer, right? I'm moving to BC to, I was planning on going to law school so I can write your LSATs. Move to BC, do the law school thing. I'm like, I want to come in, make a couple bucks, no strings attached, and I want to get out of here. And then within my first 2 weeks with the company, I fell in love with it. And I was sitting there, I was like, man.
Interesting you say that. So I started in September of 2016.
Yep.
It was just after a long summer trip that I had with my family in Lebanon. I come back and I'm like, you know what? This might just be a summer gig.
Yeah.
Right? 2 months, I'll enjoy it, see what it's like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
2 weeks in, I'm like, I'm doing this.
That was my 100%. Experience too. So yeah, it was cool. And over that summer, ended up falling in love with the job, right? And it was at that point, it was a job, it wasn't a career, but it was different every day, right? Like you touched on, it was diverse, and I was working with cool people, and I was able to use people skills and some finance stuff and some sales stuff. It was really cool. It just kind of checked all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll give it a year, right? We'll see what happens. And then in January of 2017, same thing, went into a management position, and that year was one of the best years of my life. So I said, okay, this is it. This is what I'm doing now. Yeah.
It's definitely an exciting job. But what's been your most memorable moment with clients? Because obviously you weren't in sales for too long, so.
You know what? I have so many stories about this, but there's one woman that stands out, and it's funny because she phones me once a week still.
Yeah.
Right, we've sold her 3 cars over the last 4 years, and she still phones me once a week. And it's always just she's so bubbly, so nice, so polite.
Yeah.
She's so happy. She had a terrible experience with a dealership previously.
Yes.
Right, and so from the first interaction, she had so many fears and so many reservations coming in. And ever since that first transaction with her, it's been so positive. She's been so happy with the whole thing, and she's been blowing my phone up trying to get her friends in and all that. So seeing somebody have that much enthusiasm and excitement, even 3 years later, is really cool. So what had happened? So she had purchased a vehicle. It was a Dodge Journey or something, and she took possession of it, and she just had nothing but problems.
Okay.
Right. It was one thing after another. She found some body damage and stuff, and then she kept having issues. It was in and out of the shop, and for the whole time that she owned this vehicle, she got no support. Right. Okay. She got no support. So if she phoned the place that she got it from, it was she got brushed off. It was kind of pushed under the rug, and nothing ever got resolved.
Okay.
Right. So she, ultimately she felt cheated and abandoned and, kind of left to dry on that stuff. Right. So that was her first thing she said when she came in. So right away, I, assessed the situation. We looked at her vehicle, realized, okay, yeah, there's a couple things that are going on here. Luckily, it wasn't anything really, really major. A lot of really annoying stuff. Things like her windows weren't working and stuff like that. It's nothing that's really crazy big or
but it does irritate you day to day.
Super irritating, right? Yeah. Super irritating as a vehicle that you're in and you're using every day. So we were able to take her car in on trade.
Okay.
Right. I helped her out. I stepped up big time on her trade in. Right. Just really get that trust built,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
So it was a situation where we were able to get her out of that vehicle into something that was, much newer, has factory warranty on it, way lower kilometers, that everything was perfect and worked. It fit the needs. They were able to, throw the dogs in the back. Everything worked perfectly for them, right? And so she was just blown away with that. Right. So now whenever she phones me now, it could be for something minor. She's like, Steve, I have a flat tire. Right? I have a flat tire. What do I do? And it's okay, perfect. Take it here, bring it in. Or, something happened or I got rock chips in my windshield. Like, what happened? I'm like, here, let me bring it in. I'll get you, our flat cost on getting the windshield replaced if it needs it. Right. So it's all the little things that happen where now it's, there's been so much trust built.
Yeah.
That she can call me for anything.
100%.
Doesn't matter how big or how small it is.
Yeah.
When they came back and they needed a second vehicle, that was just a nice little city booter car. We were able to get that done for them. I know now coming into this summer, they were looking at getting into something for a truck for work, but yeah, so we'll see.
I feel like you can get away with a lot of purchases if there's little issues, but if you have a car that's full of problems, it's just an inconvenience on your life because you can't make it to work, you can't do that, you can't do that. So it's awesome that you guys did that for her because some people are not mechanically inclined. They just don't know what's going on. They don't know a mechanic. They don't have a...
I am not mechanically inclined.
She's got Steve.
Yeah. I am not mechanically inclined, but I have great people for that.
Exactly, 100%. We have the connections for everything. We got guys for windshields, literally everything. So for sure.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Just being able to have that experience, and it is all in the details, right? People come in and they ask. All they care about is what am I driving, what's my rate, and what's my payment. Those are the 3 questions that everybody asks. Everybody wants to know, and ultimately, when you were talking about financing, that's the end result, right? That's the small minuscule end result piece. But it ignores the whole process leading up to it, right?
Of course.
And there's always so much more that goes into it. And someone will come in and they say, this is the car I want. This is where I need to be for a payment, right? And it's okay, you start talking to them. And then 10 minutes into the conversation, you realize, oh, you actually have a whole lot of other needs that your initial thought wouldn't have solved,
of course.
Right? So you're never gonna do that. So it's really easy to sell a car to somebody, right? It's really easy to say, here's your vehicle, right? It's more challenging to find the right vehicle that fits the lifestyle, that fits the budget, right? So that's the whole trifecta. And when you're able to hit on all 3 of those, you've built a relationship for life.
100%. And I think sometimes people forget that this could possibly be the biggest purchase of their lives. If not the second biggest purchase of their lives after their house, right? Yep. So it's a big decision to make. And sometimes people make that decision very quickly. Yep. That's why it's our job to educate people right away. We get to know what they want to know because sometimes we are the experts at the end of the day, and we are the professionals.
Yep.
We probably know more than they do about what they actually need in a vehicle, what they actually need in a financing.
But it's how difficult is that conversation to have with somebody? You know, if you say, "Here's what I think you need," that has to be something where it's all discussion based, right?
100%. From my experience, if you're showing value to a client, they always know that you're showing them that value, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because you care at the end of the day. We all care here at the end of the day for our clients and our business. Like, my love for it especially is, like you said, our first impressions are the most important thing at this company. Like, even to this day, sometimes I'll walk into our other stores, whether I walk into Barlow and they have a new sales guy, or I walk into McKnight and they have a new sales guy. They'll come greet me like I'm a client that they've never ever met before with so much excitement. They try to sit me down. I'm just like, I'm just here to see Steve. Like, but everyone is super friendly. Like, the first impressions are what matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Walk in, there's smiles on everyone's faces. They greet you at the door. They walk me right to the desk. They give me some coffee. It's amazing.
So explain that a little bit more, because I think everybody has walked into a car dealership before.
Yes.
Everyone's walked into a dealership before, and I know from my personal experience, you know, when I bought my first vehicle, when I financed my first vehicle, I was 20. I was derricking on a service rig up north. It's like Alberta Oil, right?
Alberta Oil, yeah.
And then, so I walked into a dealership and I felt, you know, I had 4 people run up to me at the same time, and it's like, come look at this. Let me show you like our best price on this stuff. And it was kind of, you know, smothering a little bit. And I'm 20 years old. I don't really know what the way the thing works, right? I ended up buying a truck, right, and walked out. I was really happy about it. I kept it for a couple of years. When I went to sell it, I realized that I maybe hadn't gotten the best, you know, or as good of a deal as I thought I did.
Yeah.
But I was young. It was a learning experience for me. But what is the experience like? So when you walk into a store now, even after being with the company for a little bit, what's the vibe?
You might not believe this, but my first experience at a car dealership is at House of Cars Chinook.
Cool.
As a client, not even as the manager or a sales guy, as a client. I had a Mazda 3 hatchback 2005 with the loudest engine knock that you could possibly hear. Like, you would hear it from northbound Deerfoot all the way to the south. Like, it was the whole time, right? So a buddy of mine was actually, I think the lot manager at the time at Chinook, and he's like, yeah, just come by, Dan will help you out. Dan's now at McKnight.
Cool. Yeah, Dan's my business partner, actually.
Yeah, so Dan's now the owner of McKnight. He was my mentor at Chinook when I first started as well. But anyway, so I walk in, 18 years old, no job, just out of high school. Essentially, he went through the whole process with me. He didn't treat me like anyone else, like at all. Like, whether I was 18, 38, stable job, no job, treated me the same. Went through the full process with me, went over my credit with me. And it was stuff that I was surprised with. And I'm like, whoa, like, all this is entailed to find. I just wanted the Mercedes that was on the lot.
Yeah.
Didn't get the Mercedes, but...
Yeah.
Ended up going through the full process with them, and then 6 months later I was working there.
That's awesome.
And then that was my first auto dealer experience. But my first time financing a car was through BMW, and then I walked in through there. It's a little different.
Yeah, my experience, you know, when I walk into Chinook, when I walk into your store, if I ever am like, I need a bro hug and some fist bumps, I go to Chinook. It's like,
lots of love at Chinook.
It is the boys club, 100%. And it's awesome. It's really cool.
100%. And I feel like we've kept it that way over the last 4 years, and that stems down from the top to the bottom. We've all been trained the same way to care about our store, take care of everything. For sure.
It's really, when I walk into that store, it's really, you know, really chill vibe. It's very, like, you know, non-threatening, and you walk in and feel good about it. So.
I appreciate that you like it, man. Yeah, we do our best at Chinook all the time. Like, we're very proud of our Google reviews. Shameless plug. 4.8 stars. No big deal.
You're only allowed one of those.
I'm only allowed one shameless plug. But yeah, it's just what we do, man. Like, we enjoy it. Everyone looks at us. We're like hidden in the middle of Chinook. No one really knows we exist, but we're there.
Hey, actually, you know what? I just remembered this. So you guys during Stampede every year, we do a big you know, promotion. So one of the things you did last year, you guys gave a car away.
Yeah, so we did a partnership with Calgary Co-op, actually.
Yeah, for the Stampede Breakfast, right?
For the Stampede Breakfast, yeah. So we were at random co-op locations throughout Calgary. I did the one downtown and the one in the south. And basically what we did was we hung out all day, spread the word about House of Cars. We weren't trying to sell any cars. We were just there strictly for the charities. So
how many hats did you give out?
A lot of hats. A lot of balloons, a lot of sunglasses. House of Cars sunglasses are very cool too. So yeah, we were just there donating a bunch of food to the food bank during a tough time before Stampede, especially because it gets really busy around those times. Yeah. And I think we managed almost 2 tons worth of food. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was 2 tons, but it was all said and done.
That's a staggering amount.
And then when we gave the car away, it turned out that we ended up paying someone's surgery for it. That's essentially it, because they chose the cash option as opposed to the car, so they never took the car.
Cool.
And it paid off an $18,000 debt that this guy had going on for his surgery that he had to go through.
That's awesome.
I felt amazing about it because it was for a good cause, and then the car went to a good cause as well.
For sure.
So it was a double win for us at the end of the day, and we've done it more than once. Like we gave a car away at Barlow as well, like for the tug of war.
Yeah, we
That
did
was
a
pretty
big
awesome.
tug of war competition. We had a big board set up, a big round robin tournament style tug of war
That's
competition.
awesome. I wanted to compete, but there was no way we were going to beat those guys. Oh my god! like they shouldn't have allowed those guys to join the competition. It's just like you guys won right away, right? But
that's really cool.
No, for me, yeah, we've done that. And what else have we? I think we've also been to SAIT to explain credit to the guys over there.
Yep.
Sort of.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool little things like that. I know a bunch of the boys from Barlow went down there and they had a booth set up and they were just doing, information. Right?
Yeah.
Information stuff. It's a world we live in now where everybody knows everybody, 100%. Right? Social media's out there. It's really easy to connect to a lot of people at once. So you need to think about, what's the image that you're giving up and what's the message that you're sending.
Of course.
Right? It's really easy to go one way or the other because everybody's talking these days, right?
100%. And I feel like we take care of our community because we all grew up here, essentially, right? We're all from Calgary. Majority of us are from Calgary, and we've grown up in these streets, and then slowly but surely, like, we've started helping the community, like the Forest Lawn basketball team. They have House of Cars logos on them, and that makes me feel good because it's my local high school, right?
For sure, we sponsored that basketball team.
It's just
for
awesome to see that my company is
yeah.
sponsoring my old basketball team, essentially.
That's
right?
awesome.
So it's really cool to have that, for sure.
That's awesome. Really cool, man.
Yeah.
What are some of the little things that you guys do to add value? So I know at our store, with our demographic, and Calgary's a weird place because you have such a diverse range of people,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
And where you are in the city, where you're located, is a big dictator of that. But I know the biggest things for us that's everybody loves their windows tinted, and everybody loves a car starter.
Yes.
Like it's like one of those things. I don't know what it is, but it's like 90% of the people I talk to. First question: does this car have a car starter?
Yes.
Right. And we get crazy temperature swings, right? And when it's minus 40 out, nobody wants to go and start their car.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the cool thing. So we every seasonal, we will throw in winter packages. So you have a winter tires, we have a car starter, right? And then we just throw that onto every car.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah. I'm guilty for that too. Every car I buy, I always throw in tint on it, remote starter before I even drive it off the lot. Like that has to be on it. On
your personal vehicle?
On my personal vehicle. Tint, remote starter, I cannot live without.
That's so funny. See, I've said that before. I'm driving a Jetta right now, and I'm like, I'm not tinting the windows on this thing. I'm not going to do that. But on a lot of cars too, the tint just cleans it up so much.
It just looks classier and way more professional. Yeah. And I'm the kind of guy that when I lock my car, I like to look back at it.
For sure.
And
if you're not looking back at your car, you're in the wrong car.
Do you really
you're in the wrong
if you
car.
don't look back at it? Exactly, right? So for me, we include a lot of that stuff too, because people like different comforts in their vehicles, whether they want that little magnet that goes into the vent so their phone can attach to it, whether they want a GPS, an aftermarket one installed, whether they want the remote starter, all that kind of stuff. We're very accommodating.
So there's no limit to that thing.
No limit
So
at
anything.
all.
Have you ever done like something crazy? Actually, here's a cool story. I did this one earlier, it was about a month and a half ago. I had a girl phone me and dream car is a purple Dodge Charger.
Okay.
She's like, this is my dream car. She had, just finished up getting out of a divorce and she's like, I'm doing something for me. This is my car. I want a purple Charger. I'm like, absolutely,
Gotcha.
right? Not a problem. So we were going through the whole thing and I was working with her for probably 2 weeks, right? And we're back and forth showing pictures and exploring different options. And she was gung-ho on like a full purple wrap job.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, hey, but think about this for a second. We bounced a couple things off each other. And she ended up going from a full purple car to we went black car. I got her black rims, new tires, right? And then we did purple racing stripes.
Yeah.
And it just looked so clean at the end of the day. And when we drove it out to her, we delivered the car to her and she sees it roll up and she was so happy.
Yeah.
She's like, this was awesome. And she was just ecstatic about it.
I had a similar story about that. We had a client looking for a 2019 Elantra Turbo Sport.
Cool.
So the one with the dual exhaust on the back.
Yep.
So he wanted the sunburst orange color. There was
House of Cars colors.
Yeah, but it was like literally House of Cars color. But there was only one in Canada, and it's in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's way overpriced, way over his budget. What we ended up doing is getting a white one, and I just got it wrapped in that color and showed it to him the next day. He's like,
perfect.
Done, this is exactly what I want.
So there's really no limit to the level of customization that you can put into something.
Not at all. And for us, anything you want done to a vehicle, we can get that done for you.
Leather inside?
Leather interior, you want new rims, you want tires, you
Heated
want
seats if it doesn't have it?
Heated seats if it doesn't have it. I can't think of anything that we can't put on a car.
For sure.
That
Can
we
you cut a
can
sunroof into something?
It will be a little messy, but I can do it for you.
I don't recommend
I have
that.
Eddie in the back. He has a saw. I'm sure we can figure it out.
Do you like getting rained on inside?
If you like getting rained on inside, you can put a little tarp during the summer, during the winter, obviously. But
that's awesome. Okay, man. Well, thanks for coming in today. It's been really cool. Really cool. I appreciate all your time.
Pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I appreciate it.